You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
It's time! It's time! It's Piledriver time! That's right. It's time for the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. No, it's not the second coming of Vader. That's not going to happen because I'm sure Shawn Michaels would flip out and kick him in the head. Poor Leon. But you don't have to worry about that happening here. We're only going to kick each other in the head because we hate each other, but in the end of the day, we love each other only after we've kicked each other. So sit back, enjoy the disaster that is always the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. Poot the Bard is here. Tiger Bomb Tom is here. Beef the Legend is also here. And as your Cruiserweight champion, I am also here. Cruiserweight champion is... It's looking not so good for the old mad champ Alec Ransom. It's not looking great. After AEW West Side Story, I'm a little low in the ranks. But hopefully in Survivor Series, we'll be able to kick it back into gear, dethrone the idiots, and remain on top.
Would you be kicking it into full gear?
Hello!
That's
Hello.
enough.
I see what he did there, and I enjoy it. Now,
just getting warmed up.
oh boy.
As your
listen.
Cruiserweight champion-elect, I have to say
Oh,
that I
wow.
am honored and privileged to be in this position of the
Wow.
the catbird seat, as it were.
Okay. Well, look, we're going to shut that shit down right now, and we're going to preface this episode with this. This is just a little announcement for everybody listening and for the other idiots on this podcast. I have a feeling that we could get into some maybe heated conversation tonight over some of the things that happened during AEW West Side Story. Maybe some disagreements, maybe some arguments. We might even call each other some names, hopefully. And if it doesn't even get that heated, I'll still probably call Beef something because, let's face it, it makes all of us happy in the heart. But I will warn everyone this. Unlike the disasters that we had to sit through during the presidential debates, I have got my moderator pants on tonight, and I will not tolerate people cutting each other off, screaming at each other, and not letting them get their points across. I will put the police cap on, and I will shut that shit down. So we're going to have a nice, lively discussion. We're going to have a nice, lively debate. We're going to have a friendly environment where we, can berate each other and hopefully make one of us cry. If we can hit that goal, shut up. If we can hit that goal, see what I did there? Moderating.
Yep.
It's going to be a successful episode. Now, go ahead.
I tell you what, I almost don't want to talk about AEW Full Gear because, damn it,
Wow.
the fucking, what's it called? The West Side Story. Was it Full Gear? It was Full Gear, right?
Yeah.
Was it?
Oh,
Why
damn
are we
Ransom,
calling it? Why are we?
I don't know
calling it
because Ransom.
Because I
lost
said
his
that in a
fucking
video,
mind.
and I couldn't remember what it was called, so I just called it AEW West Side Story.
Oh, okay.
I almost don't want to talk about it because I have a lot of venom about mostly NXT this week. But like the general lays of the build to Survivor Series, and AEW kind of phoned it in this week too. So I got a lot of problems with the product this week, and it may have been that like anything compared to what we saw on Saturday, both morning and evening, would be a steaming pile of crap. I'm sure. But that being said, I feel like these two shows on Wednesday night phoned it in, and it didn't help. But that being said, let's not bury the lead. I think that we definitely should talk AEW Full Gear because it was an amazing show.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say that I was sports entertained from top to bottom, and this very well could be, for me, the best wrestling show. To me,
Yeah, man.
it could be the best wrestling show that I've seen this excuse me. Ooh, touch of COVID. The best wrestling show I've seen this year. Now, that's not to say that it was perfect. I don't think it was. But over all the different shows and products that I've partaken in this year, This one by far has kept me the most entertained from start to finish than any of the other ones.
So
But there were flaws.
Revolution was pretty fucking great, and Wrestle Kingdom at the beginning of this year knocked it out of the park.
I didn't
Those
watch
two
that.
shows are the only two shows that I think would be in contention. While WWE has put out some solid COVID land product, at the end of the day, to me, they're all falling short of those three shows. And I don't think it's fair to put Full Gear with Revolution and with Wrestle Kingdom because both of those shows had tens of thousands of people at them. There was a different energy. It was a different style of show. But that being said, top to bottom, I could not find a bad spot on the card on Full Gear. And I know that Tom's going to disagree with me. I know he is because we had a fucking a hot minute in the chat.
We did.
But I truly believe that every single match on the card exceeded my expectations, exceeded the booking of the matches, like the play up to them, and ultimately was exactly what I wanted and then some.
Tom, what did you guys think of AEW West Side Story?
Go ahead, Poot.
Just overall.
I liked it.
Good enough.
No, it was. The problem is because I had to watch the event the next day. I had the tag match and the
TNT title.
The TNT title match spoiled for me. So
I'm in the same boat.
Two of the three matches that I really gave a shit about got spoiled for me. Not to say that I didn't give a shit about the rest of it, but it was really the impetus of like, all right, these are the ones I really want to watch. And they got spoiled for me. That didn't take away from the fact that the matches were really, 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 really good. And I enjoyed them very much. I absolutely loved the over-the-top campiness of the Elite Delete
so
match.
good.
It was fun. It was goofy as all hell.
It was what?
It was...
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We lost Poot to the ether.
What?
He gone.
No, I'm still
He
To the
here.
Matrix.
He's
I
gone.
wonder. And he's probably sitting there going, "Oh, the three of them are gone."
What are you... No, I'm
Damn it,
I'm
Poot.
absolutely
Well, I'll
not.
say for my part, I was like I said, I was in the same boat as Poot.
Same
The same boot as Poot.
Am I back now?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
now
are
you're
back.
back.
Go ahead.
Christ alive. I don't know what it is. Seriously, I understand we joke about, like, hokey jokey small town internet, but recently they've been fucking around. And Atlantic Broadband, I'm going to tag you in every single post. Atlantic Broadband, get your shit together.
It's not your internet. It's fucking Discord. We may need to find a new medium because fucking Discord has failed me for the last time.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Poot, you were saying.
gotta
Oh,
have that
my.
knee-jerk reaction. Anyway, my point is, I love the event. I love the event. I love the matches. I thought, like I was saying, the Elite Delete match is just so good, and having Gangrel show up, having the Hurricane show up in his numerous forms, I loved it. Like I was, as Ransom said so eloquently, I was very sports entertained.
Yeah, I'll second that notion with Poot. I mean, pretty much from top to bottom, I was overall very, overall pleased with everything. I was laughing my ass off at the Elite Deletion. The Kenny and Hangman Page match was awesome. The tag match was awesome. The TNT title match was awesome. The heavyweight championship match was a solid match as well. Jericho and MJF was pretty solid. Honestly, the only problem that I had with, and I know Beef will fight me on this, was the women's the AEW women's title match. The psychology was a little off for me, but otherwise the execution of it was a decent AEW women's match. And I always hold them in comparison to the NXT women's division, but that's
hard to do, man.
It is hard to do. It's just like I expect I don't know. I guess I expect more out of the women's division of AEW in general, but like I said, execution of the match, what they actually did in the ring was okay. The psychology was off for me. I didn't see the first match on the pre-show, the NWA women's title match, so I have nothing to say about that one. But
it was
overall,
good as well.
Yeah, that was a very good match. Good to see Serena.
Yeah, overall, I was very pleased with the event.
So here's what I'll say about the women's match.
Hold on. To quote Monty Python, "Hello, I'd like to have an argument, please." So
I love you, Ransom. That's fucking fantastic.
I think, we all agree that it was a great show all around. Where we have some disagreement is with the AEW women's match, not the Serena Deeb match. That was great. I'm super happy to see Serena. She looks to be in phenomenal shape. The independents have really, well, maybe not even independents. Being away from WWE seems to have done wonders for her.
Well, she also is a yoga instructor.
Well, that also is, I can see that in her form and physique. She looks to be in tremendous shape. But where we did have some disagreements, and I was talking to Tom last night while we were watching AEW Dynamite, maybe I can kind of see his point here a little bit. So I would like if you gentlemen would appease me to talk about that women's match and the disagreements that Beef and Tom seem to have with it. I'm not sure where Poop falls on it, but
impromptu
collar
elbow tie up.
Well, we'll do a little collar and elbow segment right here.
So here's okay. I just want to get this out of the way.
Yeah,
in no way, shape, or form do I believe that the AEW women's talent is on par with NXT. I think they have 2 or 3 that could really compete on NXT. That being Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and probably, if we're being honest, Serena Deeb, if she's an actual member. I don't know. So they're very much a work in progress. And you know what? Like, for as fucking straight as they have their tag team division, their mid card, and their heavyweight division, it's okay to have one quote unquote work in progress. That's fine. That being said, I understand Tom's point that the psychology was lacking. Rose worked the knee the whole match, and then, for Shida to be able to lift her up 3 times on a bum knee doesn't make a lot of sense, nor does it make a lot of sense that her finishing move was a knee that she was able to hit several times without an issue. So here's where I fall on that. I think that some things are forgivable if you put on a decent enough match. I think that bad psychology, while, a fate punishable by death, apparently, bad in-ring psychology can lead to a stinker of a match. That's for sure. I don't think that the psychology really affected this match too much, and I haven't gone back and watched it again, so my critique may be off on this. But upon first blush, I felt that, Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida have had a couple of really good matches. And I felt that this was a fitting kind of like blow off for that feud. Do I wish that Shida would have sold the knee a little bit more? Yeah, I really do. But I mean, like, I don't know. To me, I guess because the match was, I thought, as good as I thought it was, I thought the ring psychology thing was excusable.
So for me, the issue that I had with the ring psychology, like, Sheeta sold the knee throughout the match, so she did her part in that. But it's more so whatever agent helped put the match together for them. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, whenever I said about like making the comparison between the AEW women's division to NXT, I'm just saying that sometimes, like, I'm sure there's been bad psychology in NXT women's matches too, and I may have overlooked it or just not noticed it because the in-ring work was so much better executed that it was just like it took your mind off of the psychology of whatever was going on. Like whenever you're watching okay, let's just put this out there. For example, when you're watching something, say like a Young Bucks match or whatever, you're not necessarily always concerned with the in-ring psychology, because a lot of people are just like, oh my God, flippy doos, that's amazing. I don't care what the fuck happens. Like, this is just a amazing spectacle. That's fine. Like,
everybody loves a good flippy doo.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, for me, sometimes I'll watch it a little bit more analytically if there's not as much for me to be impressed with in the in-ring work. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that their in-ring work was bad. By no means. I've seen some, pretty horrendous in-ring work out of, WWE women and stuff like that who are on, the weekly syndicate and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was one of those things. I just happened to notice the psychology in that one. And then it was something that I did going forward the rest of the card. I did pay a little bit more attention to in other matches. So, and I know that the Young Bucks are, a well-established team and stuff like that. But obviously, like, they put on, like, the way the psychology was sold in their match with, Matt's injury to his ankle was, like, far superior to the psychology in the women's match with Sheeta with her knee. She sold the knee throughout the match. The only problem I had with is that, in a sport that's a predetermined sport, and I know that is, I don't want to use the F word, but I'll put air quotes here, air quote, fake. You got to give me something to suspend my suspension of disbelief or whatever. You got to give me that, because I'm going to be, I've been watching for how many years? We've all been watching for how many years? So I'm going to take a closer look at things. And there's still people, in the sport, like, say, like a Dolph Ziggler, who fucking sells stuff like $1 million. Like, like, there's times I still have to go, I'm like, oh my God, are they really hurt? Like, oh, Jesus. But it was just the fact that, like, with the bum knee, she should have already had a hard enough time. Number one, without a bum knee, she should have had a hard enough time suplexing Nyla Rose, because Nyla Rose is a beast compared to Hikaru Shida. So that's, there's that point to take into to consider. Now she's doing it on a bum knee. Okay, well, that's going to up the difficulty, so she should have an even harder time, getting Nyla up and over vertical one way or the other, or even halfway up and vertical. So that's, keeping that in mind. Okay, now she's able to do it not once, not twice, but 3 times, and on a bad knee to boot. That to me is that's just bad psychology there. It takes away, any sort of believability. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Like I said, the execution of what they did in the ring and everything like that, for itself was okay. That was my one piece of criticism for the whole show. From what I saw, was just the psychology of that match. Otherwise, the rest of the pay-per-view, really good. Really enjoyed it. Especially enjoyed the Young Bucks match and stuff like that. And I absolutely, I love the ending to the Jericho and MJF match as well. But yeah, that was my biggest hang up, was just the psychology of the women's match. Other than that, good stuff.
I think the reason why it might bother, Tom, and it did kind of confuse me, it's more the fact that it wasn't like psychology you nitpick. It was like glaring. Yeah. It was like glaringly like, well, I thought her knee was her okay. Like, it was that kind of thing. So I mean,
yeah, but there was
thing. Sorry, there was one other thing. When they don't protect finishers and stuff like that, which I know I know that's something we've talked about before, like whether or not that's an issue in general in wrestling. But if I think it was Nyla hit Sheeta with that running knee or whatever, and Sheeta kicks out at 1 after like this is deep into the match too. Nyla kicked out, or I'm sorry, Shida kicked out at 1, and I'm thinking,
to be
like,
fair,
hold on.
To be fair, Nyla Rose hit her. No, I need to correct you.
No.
I believe Nyla Rose hit her with the standard Shining Wizard, which was just a knee to the front of the head. Shida's knee goes to the back of the head. And I know that sounds stupid to make that distinction, but I think it matters.
No, Shida's goes to the front too, because she does like the little pray over them, and then she doesn't hit it like Adam Cole's like last shot or anything.
Okay. I could be wrong and I stand corrected, but go on.
But no, like the fact that it was deep into the match and Nyla hits Shida with her own move and Shida kicks out at 1. It doesn't matter what, like if she hits her with her finisher or, you know, her own finisher or Nyla's own finisher, it doesn't matter. Like that deep into the match, nobody should be kicking out at a 1 count. Like that right there in itself is just kind of that's a bad agent booking thing there, or whoever made that call for her to kick out at 1. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe that could have been maybe that was just I don't know.
What's the over under on Omega being the one who booked that?
I mean, he is heavily involved in the women's division, so I mean, I don't know. And if he was the one that had the hand in it and said like, okay, you know what, you're gonna, like, you should suplex her like 3 different times, then I'm sorry, Omega should know better. He's the best bout machine, and you know the psychology in him and Paige's match was good.
Okay, but how often have we seen? And I'm not trying to compare Shida to these people, so don't get me wrong.
Right.
But how often have we seen guys like Hulk Hogan, John Cena, come back from, you know, injuries in the middle of a match to hit their big move? And I understand that Hogan's big running knee drop or big running leg drop was, you know, nothing big. But, you know, obviously he hit the body slam, which, you know, if you work the back and the knees, the body slam's not going to work. John Cena with the attitude adjustment, same thing. How often have we seen Cena work with the back or the knee only to come back and hit an attitude adjustment? I hear what you're saying. I really do. But if we are taking Shida's place in AEW at face value, and she is the longest reigning women's champion in AEW history, if we are taking her place in AEW at face value, they're trying to make her the face of the company in the women's division. I mean, I think that those comparisons to Hogan and Cena are apropos. So for her to be able to climb that mountain, and so here's what I'll say. I think that 3 times was too much.
That's my point.
I think that one slam would have been sufficient, and then that Falcon Air at the end would have been fine.
I will agree to that, because that was my biggest point. Is I have no problem with people coming back and getting that surge of adrenaline and getting that second wind and coming back from a quote unquote in match injury or something. That's fine. But yeah, 3 times was overkill. That was my biggest thing. Like if you're gonna, you know, if you're gonna sell off that you have an injury in the match, like, you know, sell it the right way, you know, and make sure that what you do throughout the match reflects that. Just you look at Matt Jackson. Now I know Beef was saying that that Matt possibly has like an actual real life injury that's been, you know, it's been nagging him and stuff for some time, and they just kind of accelerated, you know, amped it up for the storyline of the match too. But look at like every little thing that Matt did in that match. If his ankle was somehow, you know, would have been affected by it, he fucking sold it like $1 million. So that was my biggest thing. Is 3 times.
To be fair,
yeah, 3 times was overkill. 3 times was overkill. That was my biggest thing.
To be fair, and you keep, you know, drawing allusions to Matt and Shida, which again is fine because they both had, you know, storyline injuries in the matches. But Matt also had 3 of the best tag team wrestlers, you know, wrestlers, period, in the match with him. And this is no knock on Nyla Rose. Right. Nyla Rose has not been around for that long. She has carved a path of dominance and has looked the part of a badass. But she's no fucking like Dax or Cash or Nick Jackson, you know, like there's a steep decline. So it's a lot easier to tell a story whenever you have all the participants involved. And again, that's no knock on Rose. My thing with her and the way that she beat Nyla, I think, was a message, because Nyla had been running roughshod over AEW, Dark, Dynamite, all of it. And with Vicky Guerrero, everyone's like, okay, here we go. Like, they're setting her up for a big, pristine run.
Yeah.
And for Shida to beat her, come back from the knee injury, lift her up a couple, 3 times, that I think was a statement win. And that's why I think it needed to happen the way that it did. The Nyla knee strike, when she hit Shida with it. So here's the only thing I'll say about that. Before she hit the knee strike, she took the time to flip her off. I don't know if. So part of me, just a small part of me, thinks that maybe that was a shoot. That maybe Shida was pissed off. That maybe Nyla called an audible mid-match, and Shida was like, "Nope, fuck you, I'm not doing that."
Okay. Maybe
because that's really because I saw that too, and I'm like, wow, a 1 count at the end of the match, like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Unless again they were thinking, oh, hey, okay, it's gonna make her look like a badass. I do see your point about that making her own finish look weaker, regardless, front, back, whatever. You're right, but in the same token, how many times have we hit? And again, I'm going to go back to the great ones. How many times have we seen Steve Austin hit a rock bottom, or have we seen Randy Orton hit an FU or attitude adjustment, I guess it's known, or things like that. Like stealing finishers is part of the game.
Oh,
but
yeah.
usually if someone steals the finish, that never goes their way. Now again, usually it's not a 1 count. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw a fucking 1 count on anything.
Right.
So,
that was my point. Like, whatever the reasons were, like, it was noticeable to me. That was, like I said, that was my biggest point of contention, was just the overall psychology. Like, I have no problem with somebody coming back and overcoming an in-match injury, but 3 times seemed like it was excessive. The 1 count,
I agree.
The 1 count towards that deep in the match seemed very odd and very just why did they do that? Very confusing. And yes, I like you said, I agree with you that you can't necessarily compare how the psychology between Nyla and Shida would be compared to. I'm not trying to compare them to the Young Bucks, but I'm just saying there's an example of, like, in general, there's an example of, like, there was some bad psychology versus an example of like what I would say was, like, excellent psychology. Again, it's I can't. It's hard for me to say, like, I'm not trying to compare them, but I just said, like, this versus this. But, like, that's just it was glaringly obvious to me in their match, and it made me then, like, pay attention to everybody else's there on out throughout the pay-per-view so much more. The only other thing that ended this was a confusing thing to me at the end, like, why they had Nyla just stand there and kind of take the abuse from Vicky, because then that garners, like, babyface attention for Nyla, and you want to keep her a heel, I think. But that's I don't know. That confused me too.
Ransom, you've been awful quiet.
Because he's been letting us go at it.
That's true.
Yeah.
About what?
Because you've been letting us go at it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was hoping for a lot more name calling and insulting, but, whatever. I'm glad we all...
Beef, you're the fucking worst. I'm going to go get a drink.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Just to appease the mad champ. I'll be right back.
I see, I don't know. I'm kind of split on it. Like, I see validation in both arguments. I think I would have had I would have taken less issue with it if Shida gives her one suplex, and after that one suplex, it's just, she's writhing in pain. She's grabbing her knee. She's really having a tough time standing. Okay, at that point, I don't have a problem with the suplex. Not a 1. and I could be wrong because I was kind of not, I was kind of paying attention to my phone throughout that match too. So I don't know if it actually happened, but I don't really remember after any of the suplexes her really selling the fact that, damn, I've got an injured knee. I just suplexed this beast. Like, I'm really feeling the pain here. Like, maybe that was a mistake. I don't remember seeing any of that out of Shida. And I think that's where my issue comes into play. Like, if you're going to have a storyline injury and you're going to suplex someone that much bigger than you and you don't sell that injury at all, I do kind of take issue with that. It seems like, okay, so she suplexed Nyla Rose, and during those suplexes, no knee issues at all. And then later on in the match, we'll go back to working the knee and talking about the knee injury. Like, that doesn't really sell with me. And the kick out at 1, if that was an oops, like if that was maybe she thought it was 2 and she kicked out. If that was a botch, it's much more forgivable. People botch things. Wrestling is a very fast-paced thing in the ring. There's a lot of stuff going on. So if you miss a count, not a big deal. Like, I don't have any issue with that. With what Beef said, if it was Nyla Rose wasn't supposed to flip me off, and she flipped me off, and that really doesn't sit well with me. Like that I feel like that was a little bit of disrespect. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of disrespect back. Okay, I understand that. I don't understand that as much as a whoops, I thought it was a 2 count and I kicked out. But I still understand that a little bit more. If it was supposed to be booked that she kicks out at 1, I do take issue with that. If she would have kicked out at 1 off of a move at right at the beginning of the match, first 2-3 minutes, fine. But that deep into a match, I don't care if it's a scoop slam or an arm drag, that deep into a physical match with someone like Nyla Rose, nobody really should be kicking out at 1 unless it's a Jericho come on baby pin. Okay, you can kick out at 1 on that because let's face it, that doesn't take much.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I just thought about this here, the only thing that I can think about that is, again, it makes her look more badass, and I think that the problem is, here's where I think the problem is lying. I think they tried too hard to make Hikaru Shida a badass. Not that they didn't succeed, because I love Hikaru Shida, and I think most people do.
Right.
But the problem in here is that they did a little too much. Hey Hikaru, we want you to come back from the knee injury. Okay, great. We want you to kick out of your own finisher at 1. Great. We want you to pick up Nyla Rose 3 times during the match. Okay, great. And I mean, like, 1 of these things, okay. 2 of these things, you're pushing it. 3 of these things is, too far.
I'll agree with that. Yeah.
I think maybe it was just a little bit of overkill so that they could be like, hey, look how awesome Hikaru Shida is. And again, wrestling is the business of the long gambit, the long game. You push a champion hard now to get their eventual successor over even harder. So that's the only thing I could think.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, her suplexing Nyla 3 times in itself was overkill, in my own opinion. But yeah, you may be right. I think maybe they definitely got her over as they definitely booked her, going over and looking strong because she beat Nyla Rose. I mean, anybody that beats Nyla Rose looks strong to some degree because it's freaking Nyla Rose. Look at Nyla, like, no pun intended, because it's her moniker. She is a beast, So for any David versus Goliath sort of story, obviously, like, you're gonna have whoever beats Goliath looking strong. Just if my issues that I saw with the match were at the behest of the agent or booker that was doing things or whatever, or if it was because of the wrestlers themselves doing that, then just, hey, let's do a little bit better job next time. Like, go back and be like, okay, like, what could you have done better? Well, maybe we could have not gone an overkill, and maybe I could have not kicked out at 1 or whatever, just things to keep in mind. But like I said, overall, the whole pay-per-view I was pleased with. Now, I know.
And what I
Beef's-
think is awesome, real quick here, Tom. What I think is awesome is that Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes have both said, "Hey, we know the women's division isn't great. We know that it's not perfect, and we know it's a work in progress." They both recognize that as like one of these singular flaws with AEW, and they are working to correct that.
yeah,
That is something you don't see out of upper management in WWE.
I
definitely
agree with
not.
that. I agree with that. Now I know Beef had some issues with was it AEW and NXT this week or just NXT? Because I didn't get to watch NXT this week, but
Yeah, I mean, NXT was pretty bad. And
my.
It really wasn't super.
Not and like on a
Not
good
something
week,
you really hear about NXT.
No.
right? On a good week, I'll say NXT was good, and if I'm saying NXT was good, you know that it was subpar for what it normally is. But this week it was not good, and
wow.
that's certainly not what you want, especially after their stumble in the ratings here because of the debates and with football back on and everything. It's a hard sell on Thursday night sometimes, but just so much felt just not good, just not good. Starting at the tippy fucking top, the Leon Ruff beating Johnny Gargano for the North American title. I get it.
Wait, what?
Okay,
Yeah.
So Johnny Gargano kicked off the show out in the ring with a belt and a wheel that had contenders on it. And, Johnny Gargano now all of a sudden doesn't hate wheels.
Okay.
So he's out there and it has like Damian Priest and, all these other people on the wheel. And there's one that's handwritten on there and it says Leon Ruff. And he spins the wheel and it's gimmicked so that it like swings and it lands on Leon Ruff. Johnny Gargano before this, Johnny Gargano talked about the curse of when he won the North American Championship. In his first defense, he lost it. When he won the NXT Championship, in his first defense, he lost it. So he's talking about it's a curse. I'm cursed, I tell ya, he says. And first of all, from the moment that he appeared on screen and he's talking about this stuff, I immediately was like, uh-oh. Oh, what are they doing with Johnny? He's kicking off the show. He's out there with a wheel. Well, it's obviously gimmicked so that it lands on Leon Ruff. Comes out. Johnny Gargano starts handing Leon Ruff his ass. And Leon Ruff weighs about 105 pounds soaking wet.
Okay. Now, wait. Not to confuse. This wasn't Leo Rush. It's Leon Ruff.
Yes.
Right.
Which
Leon
is
Ruff.
Nobody we've ever fucking heard of before.
That's not true.
He's been on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
They made a big deal about, talking to him. All right, so I'm going to go kind of blue for a second. This felt like a fucking Make-A-Wish segment. Like, for fucking real. Like, you look at this kid, like Poot said, he's maybe legit 130 pounds.
Like,
if he's lucky.
Like, does he look even smaller than Marco Stunt?
He's like...
He's taller.
He's taller, but he's really skin and bones. And that's not me sitting here going, they have to be big monsters, motherfucker. Like, kill you. It's not that. It's more the fact that you go, they haven't done anything with Leon Ruff other than job him out or have him win one or two matches. Like
I never heard of him.
Yeah, they haven't done much with it. So, but the whole thing it's playing on is Johnny Gargano's whole
curse
shtick of this curse. So he comes out, they're having their match. Leon Ruff gets a little bit in, but Johnny's pretty much dominating. He goes out there. Damian Priest is standing behind the plexiglass. So Johnny Gargano goes up there, taunts him. Damian Priest comes out from behind the plexiglass and stands by the barrier, and Johnny Gargano gets scared back in the ring. Of course, Gargano's paying attention to Damian Priest. Leon Ruff goes for a roll-up, 1-2, kick out by Johnny, and then it goes on about 30, 45 more seconds maybe, and Leon Ruff does a really awesome crucifix bomb pin thing. Like, it was actually really well done. Like, this isn't us sitting here bagging on Leon Ruff. Like, but like, he does this move, pins Johnny for 1, 2, 3, clean win.
Wow.
And you know, of course they show Damian Priest laughing. Leon Ruff is freaking out. They did the gimmick thing where he's so skinny, he puts the belt, Damian Priest puts
great.
the belt on him, and it just falls straight to the ground.
Yep.
Like it was.
Yep. Just slides right off his waist.
Slid right off his body. Like it's this kind of like, and you're like, this is out of nowhere and weird. And my first thought was Johnny Gargano's getting called up.
So the whole fucking time, I'm sitting there watching NXT last night. I'm like, I feel like I'm half asleep. I feel like I'm watching a fever dream. Like, and then they did this thing with Raquel Gonzalez. She comes out and she's like, Xia Li. Xia Li's been calling me out. And I'm like, when did this occur? Did I miss an episode of NXT or something?
Yes. She called out Raquel. Or she told Regal that she wanted to challenge Raquel like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I must have missed that. I mean, because I literally have no memory of that. So she's nowhere to be found. And then Boa comes out. All right, you know, big old Boa. That's cool. And then Raquel Gonzalez lays him out, which, okay, it's cool to see a woman take down a man. That's neat, except for, you know, R.I.P. Boa's career. And then after that, they have this big fucking stupid looking dragon fly across the sideboards, and then all the smoke and a red light comes out, and then it's like, you know, Kung Fu Master, to be polite and as politically correct as I can be, comes out and like hands Boa this like slip of paper, and like marks him on his like hand with like charcoal. And Boa looks at his hand. He looks at the guy walks away. He looks at his hand. He looks up. He looks at his hand. He looks up. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Is this Kung Fu? The Legend Continues? and like, nothing made sense. Candice LeRae beat Toni fucking Storm clean. No rhyme, no reason. Toni Storm, I think it was, her second match back on NXT. Fucking lost to Mrs. Gargano. No rhyme, no reason.
Let me interject there for a second. I think the only reason they might have had Candice go over clean is because last week, whenever it was Shotzi and Tony, Tony beat Shotzi, and then Candice Candice, I don't know, had like Shotzi's tank run over or whatever. Yeah, and like, so I don't know. I think maybe they're trying to book Candice a little strong, which if they wanted to, I don't know.
They like, shouldn't have put her against Toni Storm, because now people who don't watch NXT UK are going to look and go, oh, they made this big deal about Toni Storm coming, and they even gave her the whole spot, the whole it's Toni time and everything, and then meh.
And then, like, to go further, they finally reveal Ghostface. Guess who it is? It's that fucking lady who's been helping Candice LeRae for the last month and a half. Didn't see that coming. I don't even remember her name. That's how inconsequential it is.
Oh, that's a bummer.
What
the hell is her name? The African American with the dark curly hair. I can't remember her name. But she's been in like the employ of Candice LeRae the last like month and a half. I
honestly don't know. With Vanessa Bourne, maybe?
No, it's not Vanessa Bourne. I forget her name. She was like a newer NXT wrestler. But like they had a chance to bring somebody in and like have something surprising, and it's like, oh, you know, fucking saw that coming. And here's another great spot. They have Cameron Grimes come out, and who did?
Listen, wait. They didn't have Cameron Grimes come out.
You're right.
They
who
had
did what's his name?
Cameron
Loomis win?
Grimes come out.
Who did Loomis? Loomis lost to somebody last night. Timothy Thatcher. Which, again, like Loomis on this big win streak, he's looking good. Fucking Timothy Thatcher out of nowhere beats him. Why? Who knows?
Because
after the match, Cameron Grimes puts a fucking sack on his head, and Dexter Loomis is punching at air trying to get Cameron Grimes. And all I'm thinking is, there's no way they're setting up for a blindfold match without a crowd. There's no way they're setting up for a blindfold match without a crowd. And yet, here we are. I'm fairly fucking certain they're setting up for a fucking blindfold match without a crowd. It's just, and then the title, the tag team title match last night, Breezango versus Lurkin and Birch. All kinds of chicanery, all kinds of fuckery. It wasn't clean at all. McAfee's boys went over. I just, honestly, the best spot of the night was probably the Cruiserweight title match. That was a decent match that went pretty long, and while had some chicanery fuckery at the end, like, that's pretty much it. Otherwise, the whole thing was a shit show from start to finish, and I can't believe I'm saying that about NXT.
It felt like this week they just stopped and went, and now for something completely different.
Yeah.
It seriously. And
So-
Listen, the thing that really got me was the thing with like the fucking Kung Fu Master and Boa, and I'm like, what is even fucking happening here?
See,
like, it literally felt like a fucking Sinister Minister bit. It really did.
well, that's the thing, is that was not included on the Hulu version, mind you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That nor the bit with Dexter Loomis. So thanks,
Interesting.
Hulu.
Okay.
Wow, fucking Hulu.
Yeah,
Get your shit
Hulu.
together. Figure it out.
Yeah, Hulu's really starting to make me a little frustrated. The
only good thing about Hulu was fucking Letterkenny, really.
I wouldn't go that far, but like not the only good thing. It was the best thing, but it's not the only good thing.
One of the only good things.
But the thing is, it just, even the stuff that I had, which was literally everything else, just felt like it felt like Vince came down and said, "All right, all the other creative, take a day off. I'm taking over."
God help us.
Like, there's no reason to have Tony Storm lose. There was no reason for the whole Boa thing. There was no reason for
Loomis to lose.
Like, for what?
Loomis to lose
For
to Thatcher.
Loomis to lose, and there was no reason to take that belt off of Johnny and give it to Leo Ruff. Like, I can't. Like, it.
I've turned it on. I've turned it on just to have it on in the background, just to see, like, even without really being able to hear what's going on with it, just because I have my giant ass headphones on, just to watch it. And the only good thing, just knowing how bad it's gonna be, the one bright spot I will take away from right now is I love the Power Couple shirt that Johnny has.
Agreed.
The
Agreed.
Power
That was
Couple
probably
shirt's
the best
good.
part.
It's cool.
That was probably the best part.
It looks very Fallout / Cupheady.
And I'm not letting AEW off the hook either, because I think AEW phoned in last night's performance too.
Now, hold on, Ransom.
He's muted.
Ransom.
He's muted.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe he was pooping or peeing, or who knows.
Were you poop and or peeing?
It's none of your business. No, maybe.
Okay, you're also a million miles away now. I was just gonna ask you, hearing all this stuff that NXT just decided to, out of nowhere, decided to just the amount of it they fucked was incredible. Like, what's your take on this? Why this sudden shift of, like, hard left, like, throw the baby out with the bathwater with a lot of these characters?
No idea. I don't. I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is that somebody came in before the show and was like, "No, this is stupid. Let's change it to this." Honestly, if I'm going to think about it, it has Vince McMahon's writing all over it. But
Sure
I didn't
fucking
really
does.
think. I didn't think that Vince was that invested in NXT to come in and be like, "Oh, I'm going to rewrite this whole damn thing to you, Paul." But I didn't watch it. I watched a bit of AEW, but from everything that everybody is saying, I mean, it sounds like Vince McMahon just splooged all over this show. But again, that takes me back to why. Like, why is he going to suddenly now get his dirty, grubby old man hands all over NXT when it's pretty much Triple H's show?
Ransom,
So I have no idea.
You seem a million miles away on your mic, by the way.
Oh, fuck you, Poot.
Ah, well, fuck your mic, Ransom. The
Any better?
nope, not really.
Penis!
I don't know why it's so damn funny.
You know what? When I'm editing this, I'm gonna take that out, and that's gonna be my new text tone.
I just
That
I feel like
Oh my
I-
god.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't
Penis?
I didn't want to be the guy. No, yeah, penis. I didn't want to be the
Any
guy
better?
who immediately.
No.
I can't tell
No.
because Beef's talking.
Any better?
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, fucking
Like-
turn it up. Turn up the dad.
You
Turn
are
wait,
up
no.
to 200, cowboy.
It's not that you're down. It sounds like you're talking in like a hallway.
Yeah.
The
Penis.
I didn't
Oh, Lord.
I didn't want to be the guy that immediately said it felt like Vince McMahon came in and took over NXT, because I think that we do a fair amount of Vince bashing, and I think a fair amount of it is 100%
Warranted.
quality.
Any better?
Quality wise, yes. Ransom. Volume wise, way no. Way
Any better
no.
now? Any better?
No.
No.
I got nothing. Fuck this show.
Yes, it is warranted, but like I don't think it's fair that whenever NXT kind of goes off the rails that we immediately go, well, it must have been a Vince McMahon thing. I think that we have to admit that sometimes NXT loses its way, much like I think that sometimes it's okay to criticize AEW.
But why why to this degree? Like, no, like, I'm already I'm trying not to go too far ahead and enjoy the moment in things. But like, okay, if like taking the belt off of Johnny, that's like a glaring fuck up there. Like, where the fuck do you go with Leon fucking
It
Ruff
sounds like
from here?
They're
it
playing
feels like
this.
a rib.
No,
Yeah.
it's not even the rib. It's either Johnny is gonna get called up to the main roster.
Which fucking I hope not.
I hope not. Or, it's they're gonna try and push this whole Johnny Gargano is cursed. You know?
And then
like-
have him go on a big losing streak for a while,
Yeah,
and
why
like
not? Fuck it.
turn him back babyface.
Maybe he'll have to go find the fucking like kung fu master to have him fucking cleansed. Wouldn't that be fucking something? I just, and I mean, AEW does not escape my wrath from last night either, because I think that AEW didn't try very hard to put on a good show.
NXT, we're not mad, we're disappointed.
Yeah, and I do feel the same way with AEW. I feel like AEW said, hey, you know what? We got Pac coming back. We can just put the rest of the show on cruise control because that's all that everybody's going to talk about. And it feels like they did. The Conti match was kind of rough. I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest with you. The Cody shtick was just bad. Not
I heard
Cody
the
himself, but
I heard the bunkhouse match was good.
that wasn't bad. That was pretty quality for what it was.
I said it to Ransom when him and I were sitting around just bullshitting on Discord to one another. I was like, How many different fucking names do we have to come up with for a no disqualification match? It's a bunkhouse match. It's
well,
a fucking...
the bunkhouse match has roots in WCW.
Yeah, I
with
know.
Dusty
That's an
Rhodes
old
and-
school
bunkhouse,
thing.
I
Yeah.
know. Bunkhouse Buck. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm just, but for those, okay, but for newer fans that aren't antiquated with Bunkhouse Buck and old WCW, like they're gonna be like, what the fuck's a bunkhouse match? And then it's just like, oh, it's a no disqualification match. Like that's whatever.
I don't think AEW is written for the new fans. I think that the AEW is written for the smarks. I really do, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much, because I'm a fucking smarks through and through. But I feel like I said, the Tay Conti match was not good. I felt like the best part of the show was definitely Inner Circle and MJF.
Absolutely.
I think that the whole, like, because there's a lot of static, obviously with Sammy Guevara and MJF and
Actually-
Ortiz and MJF.
Actually, there was one other thing, and I think Ransom will attest to this too. That stole the spotlight for AEW last night was Ray Phoenix and Penta. Holy fuck! Like taking that package pile driver on the hardest part of the ring, like it just looked so nasty. Oh my god!
I've seen Penta versus Phoenix done about 6 or 7 times, and every time it's been amazing. Here's my fucking issue with the match. I don't understand the demasking of the two of them. I can't imagine that they both went to Tony Khan and were like, "Hey, can we do this?"
I'll bet you they did, actually.
You really think that they said, "Hey, let's expose our faces on national TV"?
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't complete, and they've done it before, so it's not news. Like man,
I feel like them doing it to each other, and so
that's why they did
understand.
it. That's why they did it. Like
and Tony Schiavone said it 87 times to make sure that I understood it, to make sure that he was like, they're brothers. I can't believe that they're doing this to each other. Look, Eddie Kingston. Look what you has wrought. Look at these two. You've taken a great team and you've made them, bitter enemies. Look what you've done, Eddie Kingston. Like, I get it. Man, do I understand. And especially with Pat coming back, I get it. You're going to have the Death Triangle versus the Kingston family. Okay, great. I'm down for that. And I'm here for that.
I'm so happy because Death Triangle was the best gimmick that wasn't.
I just feel like them. I feel like if it was their idea to lose the masks, okay, I at least can understand it. But I don't. I like on a fucking throwaway Dynamite. Like you said, that did happen. I think on the one ladder match with the Bucks where they took Penta's mask off, and or wait, maybe I'm thinking Rey Mysterio. Anyway, it has happened before. Obviously, with luchadors losing their masks.
No, you're thinking of Penta. They did that on like one of the first episodes of Dynamite.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like it's not unheard of, but it's just. Like, to me, that's the allure of Phoenix and Penta, is the mask and the fucking, like, the mysteriousness that goes with that. When you took the mask off of them, they looked normal, and it kind of ruined a lot of that mystique.
How
know,
old are you? Did you think the same thing with Peter Parker? I'm busting your nuts. No, it did that. It's kind of like when Rey Mysterio took his mask off in WCW.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what it felt like. I thought to myself, man, I hope they're not fucking taking the hoods off these guys, because I will be so fucking bummed if they are.
They never would. They never.
Yeah, as
they would never lose the hoods.
Unless they decide to do it themselves, what's his nuts in fucking WWE? Andrade, didn't he, like, outside of NXT and WWE, like he wrestled under a mask. Yeah.
Yep.
So, unless one of them makes that call that they want to be demasked or anything like that, I don't think you'll see a full demasking happen anywhere in AEW. But
yes.
yeah, I don't know. But
Oh, and fucking Shaq. I mean, that
Yeah.
goes without saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my other question because I was sitting there with Ransom and I was messaging Beef in the chat. I was like, who the fuck's this? Who the fuck's this skank that came in and started talking to Cody and then Brandy went all fucking complete hood on? Like, I that was the best part of that whole interaction.
I thought, that's what my wife said. My wife said, Brandy's the whitest black woman I've ever seen. And this lady just made her go straight up hood on her. And I was like, that's a good way of putting her.
She went real hood on her, like, real good. I was even sitting there going, damn, Brandy.
Listen, Brandy has chops. I love Brandy on the mic, and she's an emotional worker. It's just that her in-ring work is not the best, ironic being that she's married to Cody Rhodes. Yeah. But and there's room for growth there, of course. But
what was it that AJ Lee said before? You know, talent isn't sexually transmitted.
That's true. That's
a
true.
Throwback. That's a throwback.
It's just like so AEW was at least coherent. They had a couple bright spots, like the bunkhouse match, like the main event, like the Jericho MJF segment, that made me go, okay, all right. But NXT, like, there's literally no and here's the real fucking ticker that I was thinking about earlier. And Ransom, we're gonna bring you in here because this is the more overarching stuff. So think about a year ago. Think about where we were a year ago. Going out to eat with no mask on. Life was wonderful. But like in the wrestling world, NXT bailed out the main roster because they were all stuck overseas because of that stupid fucking volcano. So yeah, NXT shows up on SmackDown, knocks it out of the park, and they're putting this big fucking they're putting everything that they got on NXT. They pushed NXT to the fucking moon, baby, with Survivor Series, and NXT looked amazing. A year later, here we are. Are we getting War Games? We don't know. Survivor Series looks like crap, smells like crap, feels like crap. Like, I am not excited in the least for Survivor Series. What do you guys think?
Don't lie. Beef's excited because he's like, I'm going to win the Cruiserweight title. Meh.
I could care fucking less about that if we're being honest, because honestly, I want to see a good show. That's what I care about. Like I probably hit my wrestling climax in 2020 on last Saturday.
Gross.
Between New Japan Power Struggle and AEW Full Gear on the same day, like, two great cards, two great action-packed fucking nights of action. It was great. And now it's just like, I'm done. I'm done for the year. Let's move on. Royal Rumble time.
Well, and the end of the year is always kind of odd, a little oddball. But I get like why. I feel like we're in a sprint to the end of 2020 in all aspects, but everyone's on broken ankles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, it really feels that way. And I hate to be that guy to bust out the meme, hashtag 2020, but like, this year has been the drizzling shits for literally everyone. Like, and you got it, all in all, and I think we can safely say this. Really, I do. I think we could safely say WWE, New Japan, Impact, AEW, they've all been doing their damnedest to make sure that we have product.
Yeah,
and they've been doing their damnedest with what they have. And, eventually you just kind of hit a wall. And if we don't get War Games, by the way, it's going to be confusing as fuck because we have a clear Undisputed Era versus the Pat McAfee and his Home for Wayward Brutes. Like,
which by the way, Pete Dunne, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I know we said it before, And I know Beef said it probably on last podcast or whatever, but Jesus Christ, like all he must have done was fucking just hit the gym during pandemic
Cut
because
down.
dude is
And he's a
cut down.
and he's a new daddy. He just had a kid over the pandemic. So like,
oh wow.
I mean, yeah, he's fatherhood and fucking musclehood apparently. The other thing, so here's something that's kind of overarching that I think has been.
Can you imagine Pete Dunne trying to comfort his child? He's like, "Hello, hello, little boy."
Yes, they're there. Yes, they're there.
They're there. Yeah, they're there.
So,
Hey, Stink Bug,
so
what are you doing, buddy?
I think it's wrestling burnout right now because on AEW and NXT, it seems like every week there's a major title match. Tag team title matches, women's title matches, heavyweight title matches. And I'm not just talking about throwaway matches. We saw Moxley versus Lance Archer on free TV. We will see Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley on free TV. We will see Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley on free TV.
really?
Why?
Wait.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah,
hold on.
next week or 2 weeks from now is Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
Okay, that one I cannot explain why they wouldn't hold off Moxley versus Omega until Revolution. I don't know.
There's no fucking point on any of them, man.
No. Hold on. I will say for the Archer versus Moxley, it was the 1 year anniversary, so that's like their 1 year TV anniversary. That I can understand.
Yeah,
I'll
okay.
I'll give them that one.
I'll give you that.
But
I'll give you that. But I mean,
the other two I don't. Yeah.
And like the title changes, like we've seen on NXT free television alone this year, we've seen Rhea Ripley, or no, yeah, that was either tail end of last year or earlier this year. I'll count it because it's the same 365-day cycle. In the same 365-day cycle, we've seen Rhea Ripley win the women's title on free TV. We've seen Keith Lee win the North American and NXT title on free TV. We've seen the tag team titles swap 2 times on free TV. The North American title just this last week lost on free TV. I'm thankful that we get the product, and I'm thankful for title matches on free TV. But like, it just doesn't have the same impact if I have to sit through a fucking commercial break, even if it's picture in picture. It doesn't have the same impact. So like Moxley versus Omega, I was like, fuck yes, give it to me. Now I find out it's on free TV, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, I'll watch it and I'll love it, I'm sure, but I don't get it. I don't get it.
It breaks up the flow for sure. Yeah, I don't. The only thing, and I was talking with Ransom about this, is it would seem natural that as soon as Omega gets his title shot that he would have it, unless they're gonna do some sort of thing where either there's fuckery and it ends up in a rematch for them at Revolution, or Omega loses and then goes like full on heel cleaner mode, and then somehow gets another rematch, like somehow through whatever at Revolution, and then he wins. Like, but I can't see them. I don't know. I can't see them having Moxley drop the title on free TV. I just really can't. I don't know.
What do you think, Ransom? You're being super quiet tonight, just making me worried.
Well, first off, can you hear me any better?
Yes.
Substantially.
Thank the good Lord.
Yeah. Everything sounds back to normal like it was for you before.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Just what do you think?
With title matches on free TV, and especially when it's big time title matches on free TV.
I don't necessarily have a problem with it if it's done right. If it makes sense, I'm fine with it. I like it to maybe be a little bit more few and far between, because if you're getting title matches, I don't have a problem with. Like, have title matches on free TV, fine. to have title changes, I like those to be few and far between because I feel like that entices the crowd to be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to have a United States like a North American title match coming up on NXT. Maybe I should tune in because maybe this is going to be the one where it actually changes. Or like we're going to have an AEW heavyweight title match on Dynamite. Maybe I should tune in because just maybe this will be the one. This will be the Dynamite where that actually changes hands. If it's few and far between that it actually changes hands, I'm okay with it. You can have all the title matches in the world on free TV, but to have it change hands, I think it needs to be few and far between because to have it happen all the time, I feel like you take the importance of the pay-per-view out of it. And to never have it change, I feel like you almost take the importance of weekly TV out of it. Like, well, I know we're not going to have an AEW title match, or we're not going to have an AEW title change hands on Dynamite, so I'm not going to bother watching this week. I'm just going to watch this upcoming pay-per-view. Or like, I know the WWE title's not going to change hands on a Raw or a SmackDown, whatever stupid show it's on. So I'm not going to bother watching a weekly program. I'm just going to wait for the pay-per-views. Like, honestly, that's kind of what has happened with me. Like, I'm not going to bother watching the weekly shows because I feel like nothing substantial is going to happen. Like, WWE is not going to change their Universal or WWE title on a Raw or a SmackDown. It's going to happen on a pay-per-view. So I'm going to watch the pay-per-views because that's where we have the biggest chance of having a title change.
So, like, but here's my problem is that when you got big money matches like Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley, which has literally been damn near 6 months in the making, or Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, which is damn near a year in the making. Like, which, by the way, I love Kenny's comment last night as he's leaving the arena where he goes, hey, you know what? Last I checked, we're 0 versus 0 against each other. You've never beaten me in a clean match. So, like, these two matches, so these are the two that I'm going to point to. And I love Lance Archer and I love Brian Cage. And I think that we can all agree that we didn't see either one of those two actually beating Moxley. As much as we wanted them to, there was no chance of it. So them being on free TV, I get that. But like big money matches, like Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley, and Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega, I don't believe have any place on free TV unless you're going to brand it like a big event. Like so, if Dynamite does a big obviously they can't use Starrcade, but like if they have like a WCW branded like free for view, if you will, that would make sense. Like NXT did the Bash at the Beach or the Halloween Havoc, like title changes at those make sense to me. Or like AEW did the Beach Blast this year, or Bash at the Beach this year, and the Rock and Rage UFC. Like those two, like those kind of branded events. I can see money title matches and even a title change or two. That's fine. But to just have like NXT, December 2nd, or AEW December 2nd, or NXT November 16th, and have it be those two mega matches, I just don't see the money in it,
I agree with you when it comes to something like Omega and Moxley. Like those guys never having a one-on-one match against each other, and now especially it's going to be for the title. I feel like that big money match should be saved for a pay-per-view.
Well, the gimmick was that not to interrupt, but the gimmick was that they did have a match, but it was a lights-out match, which means it didn't count towards the records. Moxley beat Omega at last year's Full Gear.
Thank you for answering that question because I couldn't remember who actually ended up winning that match whenever they had that meeting. But yeah, I get the impotence of that match there. So,
but like
sorry,
you were saying, like,
just wanted to, yeah.
Oh yeah, but like it wasn't like a all right. So it was a lights out match. It wasn't an official match or whatever. This is an advertised. It's coming. It's for the AEW title. It's a standard match. You're right. This is a big money match, which should be saved for a pay-per-view. Now, if they're going to build these two in a program, and like they have a couple of encounters, or like they have tag matches where it's like Moxley and somebody versus Omega and somebody, fine. It's not a one-on-one match. It's not a match for the title. Like those, like I've seen those things kind of done before, and that's fine. But if you're gonna have something like this where it's a big money match. It's not a gimmicky match where, like it's a lights out or non-sanctioned or whatever. I think giving that away on free TV is a bad idea. I think that should definitely be saved for a nice big fat pay-per-view, with some of the likes of these two guys. Now, if they had wrestled before in several one-on-one matches before, okay, then that's not such a big deal.
So those two matches that I'm pointing out to me are, like I said, big money matches, and I feel like Tom, I think it was Tom that said it, is probably onto something, to where they could go something shifty with Omega and Moxley. And I think that they could probably do the same thing with Ripley and Gonzalez, with Ripley and Io Shirai. I think AEW is a little bit more forgivable because they go from, early November till late February between pay-per-view cycles. So, they got to do something in the middle there.
Yeah.
But, NXT, there's a fucking NXT pay-per-view event coming up the week after Survivor Series, the first weekend of December. You're telling me that you can't hold your fucking load in your pants for 3 more weeks with those two? So I think it's something.
My pants. That's kind of gross.
Easy.
You're the one who said it.
Oh, you went somewhere I didn't think you were gonna go. You took the high road on that. But I really feel like something shift is gonna happen with Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, which. I don't know.
I don't want to say I look. I know I'm whiplashing back to AEW, but I want to make a salient point.
You're fine.
So, Omega can't lose that match, right? Let's be real talk here. With everything that they're doing with Omega and him saying, "Oh, this is what I want to be. I want to be the Kenny Omega of old," he can't lose, right?
Yeah, but Moxley's never lost a match in AEW, and you're telling me that his first loss is going to come on Dynamite?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's coming on Dynamite, but it's up against Kenny Omega. I feel like that's passable.
Oh, I don't know, man. To me, then that's where we end up in these situations. Where we have it's booked into a corner because now you have a pay-per-view quality match on free TV that I don't think Omega should lose. I don't think Moxley should lose. So I think the straight answer is they're probably going to go Broadway. Or
TV time limit.
Time limit. Yep. Where it gets to the end of the show and they just cut away where they're still wrestling. I don't know if they'll keep the match going. I don't know if they would stop the match. Who knows? I think that would be interesting, something interesting for AEW to play with. But if anything, I think that we've seen that AEW has been very conservative with those kind of things. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a hard thing to call, but I feel like because God knows how long it's going to be until we're out of the woods on this COVID garbage, and they can have full on crowds back again and everything. My point is, why not do something dramatic to get eyes on AEW? Now, and that's even going off of the same idea. And they have a couple weeks to build this as well. That's the other thing we're forgetting. They have a couple weeks to build this and make it work. But I really think this is one of those moments where you go, all right, okay, let's see, because to me, it can't.
No.
Yeah, man.
It can't I feel like a dusty finish or a TV time limit does not behoove the caliber of these two people. And to set them up and have it be a multiple thing, it doesn't work, man. I think they're gonna pull the trigger. And the thing is, there's no shame in Moxley losing to Kenny Omega. There's just not. And not saying that there would be shame in Kenny Omega losing to Moxley, but in this bubble, it would kind of kill what they're trying to do with Kenny Omega. I mean, where does he go from there?
Yeah.
You can't really do the go straight to the top of the mountain, get bitch smacked down to the bottom, and walk your way back to the top with Kenny Omega because he's Kenny Omega. Literally, you could do that with Miro. You could do that with, if he wasn't the TV champion, you could do that with Darby Allin. You could do that with any number of talents in AEW, but not with Kenny Omega.
And I think that they kind of have anyway with him. Honestly, like with him losing to Jericho and then him losing to Moxley and him kind of miring in the tag team division, I think that that's kind of been their solution with Kenny Omega is kind of dropping the ball. But I think we all knew that this is an eventuality. I just, like I said, I just can't see this, or if I'm being honest, the Io Shirai Rhea Ripley match, either one of them being resolved 100% on free TV. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it. I'll put you like that.
I'll say one thing that I am excited about, depending on how long they have the Bucks holding the tag titles for, is I'm excited to see the Elite, run with all the gold. Well, I mean, minus the TNT title or whatever, but
Oh, Cody could get that back in a heartbeat.
He could.
Again, to me, Cody,
yeah,
and now, thank you. And now, with Cody fighting Shaq, I think that even that makes it even more of a Triple H ego style. Like I think that it's frightening.
What is happening?
Ransom trolling.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of titles and title changes, what about these champs here? Are we gonna get stumped this week or not? Do we have anything? Do we have any fucking contenders that want to come take the title off the champs here? Did I just lose everybody on Discord?
No.
Still here.
No, I'm here.
I felt like there was
I'm here.
an awkward amount of silence after that question, which I thought was a pretty fucking good segue. I just felt defeated there. Thanks.
We do have a Stumped Chumps.
Holy shit.
From our friend, the Midcar Maniac.
Our only fucking friend, apparently.
Oh, easy. Listen, and Ransom has said it, that if somebody can stump us, fucking join us, man. If you can beat us, join us. But from the and I mean, the same offer is there for the Mid-Card Maniac, of course, who we've had a friend of the show, if you will. So we do have a stump the champs from Mid-Card Maniac this week.
Oh boy.
Ransom, this is like exactly what you said you did not want when you were like, and none of this, what was this match on this specific pay-per-view? So our friend the Mid-Card Maniac says, what was the opening match for the 1991 Tuesday in Texas?
Go fuck yourself.
Now, I think that this may have been sent prior to that gauntlet being laid down. Yeah, because you just put that, because this was sent on November the 5th. Remember the 5th of November. So, but... So this event, if I am not mistaken, this
Wasn't
is
it
where
called
Undertaker.
This Tuesday in Texas, by the way?
I believe it was.
Okay.
This was the event where the Undertaker beat Hogan for the title, or is this the event where Hogan beat the Taker for the title back?
That was the one where Taker was the champion going into the match, and Hulk Hogan beat him.
Right. So I think that Taker beat him at like a Saturday Night Main Event or something.
Yeah.
Real shifty like, and then they had to do a fucking like, you know, it wasn't even a pay-per-view. Like, it was a Coliseum home video thing that they had to, you know, make sure that they made a big deal to put the title back on Hogan. That being said, I have no idea what the fuck opened up that show.
Weirdly enough, I know one of the teams because I just recently watched a video about oddball oddball things, like events through WWE where like big shit happened, and they were talking about Hulk Hogan and the Undertaker thing. The opening match on this, I remember, was the Harris brothers, Don and Ron.
No, man, this was like 20 years before the Harris brothers.
I don't think so, man.
I do, because they were Jacob and Eli Blue. They were Skull and 8-Ball. They went and they were part of the New World Order with Jeff Jarrett. This would have been an easy, because this was Undertaker's first title reign, and I think this was like Hogan's like second, maybe third title reign. So this would have been.
They talked about this event. It has a whole bunch of like goofy. Like, I remember the Legion of Doom was on there doing stuff. Like,
yeah, and
they had like the Brawler was in a match.
The Harris brothers was like pre-Attitude Era. They were like 95, 96, 97. This would have been like a 15 years prior to that.
They taught. Well, am I insane then? Because I swear to God, I can't remember who it was. Because I was cruising today. I was kind of in a funk today. I'm not going to get into why. But like, another poot funk. But I just went deep dive on wrestling stuff because I couldn't bring myself to watch Raw because, I mean, it's Raw. But like...
I will say real quick, though, one good highlight about Monday Night Raw right now is Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. They are fucking treasures. But go on.
Oh, I'm sure. It might be the only reason to watch Raw. But they talked about how it was like apparently like at the time a stacked card. And they talked about those matches. Like they talked about the Brawler was there, I swear to God, or maybe I'm just sitting here and I was in a haze all day. I don't know.
All right. Do we have any idea what titles were on this show?
Well, obviously the heavyweight belt was.
Now hold on.
So that's not going to open the show.
What was the question? Let's take it back. Again?
What match opened up this Tuesday in Texas? What was the opening match for the 1991 Tuesday in Texas? Actually.
Uh-oh, he's gone.
Yes.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm thinking 91 may have been just close enough adjacent for the Harris brothers. I don't think that they were the Harris brothers at that point. They were probably Jacob and Eli Blue. But
let me. Okay, because
I thought Tuesday in Texas was like in the 80s, not the 90s.
See, come on, beef.
All right, so hold on.
I'm not going to. You guys think? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is. I swear to God, this is not cheating. I'm gonna look at my history, my Google history, because I want to see the video that I watched. Okay, I just want it noted. I just want it noted that I'm not watching a video. I'm not looking shit up.
Do it after we answer the question.
Okay.
Yeah, do it afterwards.
All right, so it's not Hogan Taker. That's not going to be the opening match.
No.
Were the tag titles... Was there a tag title defense on this show?
91. What year? Sorry, you know.
Would it
know me, I gotta put myself in the WrestleManias of that year, so you guys talk amongst yourselves while I do some hard math.
So
math.
So Poot saying it's the Harris brothers and somebody else, and Beef was saying Legion of Doom was doing shit on the show. So could it have been?
Poot said that too.
Okay,
so
No,
20...
I did. Yeah.
So could it have been the Harris brothers and Legion of Doom opening up the show?
So this would have been 30 years ago. What WrestleMania is coming up in 2021?
37?
37. So that would have been right around WrestleMania 37.
Poot mentioned Legion of Doom and Harris brothers. Could it have been them opening up the show?
No. I have a vague memory of this, and it's not.
Anybody have an idea of the time frame of the event, like when and the year this happened?
Now there were. I would surmise in the summer. I mean.
So I think it was fall, and here's why. Maybe even winter, because Taker's debut happened at Survivor Series, and it wasn't long after his debut that he got that title. Believe it or not. So I think.
Wait, what are you saying happened in this title match, Beef? I understand this isn't a question, but I'm trying to put things together in my head.
So what happened is Undertaker debuted at Survivor Series 30 years ago, which would have been 90 apparently, and then like he got the belt from Hogan shortly thereafter on like a Saturday Night's Main Event, and he got it like with a chair or something. It wasn't a clean victory, but then like 5 days later, not even, whatever, the 4 days later, they did like a quote unquote pay-per-view, which was like the straight to Coliseum home video, where Hogan got the title back, right? Which was the Tuesday in Texas.
Okay,
so basically.
All right, hold on. Let me try to think about this, because. All right, so Hogan, Taker. I
want to say that Bret Hart was in the Intercontinental title hunt at the time.
Bret Hart was around. Bulldog would have been around.
Wait, wasn't he
Savage
the Intercontinental champ in 91?
He was thereabouts. Yeah, he because I think what year did him and Piper face off at WrestleMania? Was that WrestleMania 7 or 8? I don't recall exactly.
It was one of those two.
7, I think.
I think it may have been 8 actually. So this was right. I think this was like smack dab between those 2 years. So if Bret Hart would have been in the title picture, the British Bulldogs would have been tag team champions ish. I think that those titles may have floated between the Bulldogs and the Natural Disasters. Money Inc. would have come somewhere after that. So Money Inc. may have been somewhere in the title picture. So it could have been. It was probably a tag team match. Why suddenly am I thinking the Strike Force? No. Somebody talk me out of the Strike Force. Was that too late for the Strike Force?
No. I'm just going to flat out say no because I don't know what that is.
Tito Santana and Rick Martel.
Oh, shit.
Nope.
Okay.
Get that out of your head. That's not it.
Okay.
Okay,
now here's an important question. Yeah. Because I know there were there apparently at that show there were a shit ton of dark matches. They were all dark matches.
Well, like, no, I mean like on it was like a go ahead.
On the event, like if you bought the tape, what are we calling the opening match? Because if technically now here, and this isn't me trying to weasel my way out of this, Maniac. If everything is considered like a dark match, what do we really say opened the event then?
So I think he's talking, because I think this is one of those things you can go back and watch on the network. And I think he's talking about like if you pull it up on the network, what the first thing to show would be. which
So
would
that
be the
would be
first
the-
thing to
the-
show on the on the Coliseum home videotape.
So that would have been the first match to air on pay-per-view. On the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
On right, exactly.
What?
So not a dark match, an actual match that aired, the first actual match that aired on the pay-per-view.
All right. Well, Beef. I'm liking
Well,
the.
that's what's
I'm
sketchy
liking
is
the.
that this isn't really this wasn't really a pay-per-view. This was really like a Madison Square Garden
Okay.
show that they were like, oh hey, we have to make a big deal about this because Hogan got the title.
Okay,
back.
but for lack of better terms, we're calling it a pay-per-view, even though it wasn't.
Okay.
All right.
It
well,
did air on pay-per-view though.
my
Did it
my.
Yeah.
live?
Yes,
I-
it did.
I didn't think it did. Okay.
Yeah,
That-
this one did.
This, I like where you're going. I like the Bret Hart thought process you had going on.
Because he was only a year removed from getting that title because he had the title at Royal Rumble '92. So, Bret Hart was probably getting a considerable push, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him in an opening match.
All right, so let's tentatively put Bret Hart there.
Okay.
Who would Bret Hart be facing? What?
Damn it.
What?
He's got it. Fucking
I
Ransom
do.
has it.
I do.
How?
Don't ask
Okay.
me how I know it, but I do.
What
Son
is
of a
it?
bitch. It's Bret Hart versus Skinner for the Intercontinental title, and fucking Bret
Holy
Hart won.
fuck! That's
Wait.
Bret
right.
Hart went in. Bret Hart went in as the champ, and he won.
Bret Hart.
I
versus
remember
who?
that. Skinner,
Yeah.
fucking alligator man.
Oh
Yep.
my God, Skinner!
Yep. Fucking
Yep.
Ransom's right. The minute he said Bret Hart versus Skinner, I'm like, that's it.
Holy shit! I forgot about that.
I never
forgot
knew
about that whole bit. That
I'm
Skinner
Are we
bit.
gonna?
I'm
Fuck.
entranced in the magic that is Tony Storm's big old booty right now.
All
Yeah,
right.
she got a badonkadonk.
She's thick.
I
As
think she
does
put,
as does Ty Conti, Tay Conti. My wife actually noticed Tay Conti's backside last night.
Tay Conti's got a nice booty. But anyways, let's see if we're right.
That turned a little
Yeah, so
broy.
we're gonna lock this in then. Bret Hart
Yeah.
versus Skinner.
All right,
Intercontinental
fucking why
title final
not?
answer.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Maniac's never gonna get on this show.
Benedin. Love the challenge. Don't think I'll be showing anytime soon. The opening match saw Bret Hart defeat Skinner to retain the Intercontinental title. Hot damn.
Ransom,
Oh.
where did that come from?
You got. I was just thinking back at that paper, because I knew it was a pay-per-view, and I couldn't for the life of me think of who else was on. Like, I knew a bunch of random guys that were on the show, like Savage was on, Taker, Hogan, British Bulldog was on, and then when you guys started talking about stuff, it started coming together for me. Just like real oddball stuff, because I remember DiBiase and wasn't it DiBiase? God. Wasn't it DiBiase and the Repo Man? Didn't they tag together in a tag team match against somebody?
I'll run it down real quick. First of all, Poot was not wrong. If the first match on the card was the Harris brothers defeated Brian Costello and Brian Donahue. So go
I don't know
fucking
who-
figure that.
I don't know who either of those two Brian guys are.
Right? No idea.
No, the Harris
so-
brothers, though, that's what I do whenever I'm in a bum mood. I look up goofy, weird shit, and today it was wrestling.
Fucking Pooh was right. There were a ton of there were 9 dark matches on this card, including the Nasty Boys versus the Bushwhackers, the Legion of Doom versus the Rockers, the Legion of Doom versus the Natural Disasters. Apparently there was like a double match or whatever, and Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper. We're all dark matches on this event.
All right,
hell
first
does-
off, yeah, I'm right there with you, Tom. How do you put Ric Flair and Roddy Piper in a dark match?
Yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, the Legion of Doom as well, like highly regarded as one of the best tag teams of all time. Yeah, man, this
That's
is fucking
super weird.
But you have Skinner make the main card. Let's see. Savage versus Jake Roberts. Bulldog versus the Warlord. Repo and Ted DiBiase versus El Matador and Virgil. And Hogan versus The
That's it.
Undertaker.
Reap. I don't understand. I can't remember
What a
how on
fucking
earth they
weird
got
event.
Repo Man and Ted Dubia. Why do I keep
Hey,
saying that?
this fits right in with the whole thing of, and now for something completely different.
You're right. That's fucking maniacs on a wavelength. That's weird. I'm telling you, like that's the fucking wrestling and historian in me to be able to like call back to a time and figure out who was where, and that gets you guys' wheels moving just enough to get us to the answer. That's insane.
Yep.
If
you guys hadn't started talking about stuff, I never would have gotten.
Dude, I got to give you a shout out, man, for calling the Harris brothers, and I was fucking all over you, but you were fucking right. They were in the technical opening match of that event. That's outstanding.
I would like to note that I contributed nothing except commentary on Tony Storm's ass. You're welcome.
Listen, that's an important topic that needs discussed.
Yes.
But speaking of which,
that always bears mentioning.
Tony
Always.
Storm's ass can be the topic of another podcast, maybe the Solo Tom podcast, whenever, whatever he calls it.
I don't.
The Pittsburgh Pornhub podcast.
I don't.
Well, that tickled Tom the right way.
Yeah, dude.
Giggity goo.
What's happening right now?
I don't think I ever heard Tom laugh like that.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't.
The only other time was whenever we had the nut button, and he went, and we went, and he went full. He was like nyet.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, it was a success.
So,
I would say this is. Yeah, Maniac.
Yeah.
You got no
Good
spot
try.
here, buddy.
And he even brought the fucking smoke that we said we didn't want, and we still owned him, buddy. Sorry. Get some reinforcements.
Hold on, let me
Get out there. Be on the fucking Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast street team. Get some fucking people to email us all the questions to get somebody on this show, because my god. My God.
And look, since I've been playing Hollow Knight a lot, and also am probably going to fire up Dark Souls again, I'm going to say this to you, Maniac. Get good. We love you, Maniac. Thank you for the question.
That was a hell of a deep cut, though.
That was.
See, the problem, and we're getting long in the tooth, so we're gonna need to wrap this up. But I will point this out. The problem with, you said that was a deep cut, and it absolutely was. But the problem is, when you go for a super deep cut, you run the risk of it, because it's such an oddball thing, people know about it.
Yeah.
You got to go for like Taboo Tuesday.
Oh
right? God, and that's gonna be next week's.
Well, we'll see. Everyone research Taboo Tuesday.
Got it.
Yeah, like I can tell you right now, that would be one of the things that would get me, would be like Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday. Like who didn't make the match between, like, who, it was a one-on-one match between blah and blah. Who was the third person that didn't get voted into that match or whatever? Like, I don't know.
I bet you, between Poot and I bet you we could get that.
Probably. Because that was
guys.
right at the end of when I stopped watching wrestling.
Wow, what a fucking definitive statement. That was right at the end of when I stopped watching wrestling.
It was, well, there was that big gap there, man. Like I said, I missed the Ruthless Aggression era, and
I did too, actually.
Yeah.
I missed pretty much all of like 2003 through 2009 ish. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'll say,
I don't remember the year.
I'll say like 2003 through 2008. I pretty much missed. And then I kind of started to get back into it a little bit, and then I kind of fell back out, and then I got back into it again. So
I don't remember the year, but I remember the impetus was like the whole fucking Katie Vick angle. The you killed Katie Vick. As soon as I heard that, I was like, nope, and scene. And I pretty much left it away until I met fucking Jerkface Ransom over there, and we just like fucking went full nerd, and you never go full nerd, so. But we did, and that kind of got us both back on the wrestling bandwagon.
Yep.
Yeah, what a mistake.
It led us here to this mess.
What a mistake.
Beef, you want to take us home this week?
Hey, Country Roads, take us home to the roads where we belong.
Yeah.
Yes, so before we do, we would be remiss if we did at least mention our sponsors. the Fiskazinia, Mount Me Mama, the wonderful
Own my bone.
casual
Make me moan.
gaming dad himself, Tiger Bomb Tom, friend of the podcast, member of the podcast, one of the people that we just cannot live without. Catch him over on the Facebook on Casual Gaming Dad's Corner, as well on Twitch and YouTube. Casual Gaming Dad 84.
Casual Gaming Dad 84 on Twitch.
Ha ha! I fucking got it. Boom,
Finally.
bitches, boom.
It only took you 6 months.
Yeah, no, right? Lots of good streams. I saw that you had some Halo earlier. I think either earlier today or yesterday.
I did.
World War Z. I know you've been talking about Cuphead a lot. It seems like you run a Metroid run every single week, which is always fun. So, or Super Metroid, that is. And of course, who can not forget Mario Kart Mondays and Among Us Tuesdays? So, definitely, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share, give stars, thumbs up, all the good stuff to our buddy Casual Gaming Dad, our own Tiger Bomb Tom, as well as Mr. Sean Tischler and the work he has done with IWC Clearfield, which is nothing this year. But hey, 2021 is just around the corner. We'll see what happens. Probably more fucking pandemic, but we can always cross our fucking fingers. But anyway, we do want to thank him, another friend for the podcast, and I know that he's directly responsible for getting some additional ears on us as well. If you have time, please go and check out things like Casual Gaming Dad's store on his Facebook, as well as checking out Gold Gaming. Thanks for letting us have some awesome swag in the CGD store. Also, go check out Poot the Bard's other side project, the Tone Bros podcast, where he likes to talk about music, guitars, and the like. I don't have any shameless self-plugs. Ransom, do you have any shameless self-plugs that you need to enter in?
Yeah, no, I don't do shit.
No, you do. Check out the incoherent ramblings of a madman.
Oh my god! I didn't mention that. Jesus.
But my favorite thing about that is the goofy picture with the slate and your picture fading up and the music that.
Yeah, right. The fucking like Clockwork Orange music.
I'm like, it tickles me to death.
I've been trying to this last one. I was just gonna put like a regular video, and then I thought, well, I'll edit this quickly together into incoherent ramblings of a madman. And I thought, well, I don't want it to just be like a random picture of me like out on the porch talking. So I'm like, what the hell can I dig up? So I dug the Master Chief helmet out of the toy box, a Nerf Fortnite rocket launcher, and the Harry Potter sorting hat.
Yes.
And I threw that together. I'm like, let's fucking take a picture. And wouldn't you know it, wasn't my neighbor out letting his dog in the yard as I was taking that selfie. And as soon as I took the picture and I took the hat off and I took the Master Chief mask off and I put my glasses back on, wasn't he just in his yard, bewildered, staring at me? And all I could do was gather up my stuff and wave at him and go, "Good morning," and just go back into my house. So that's kind of how that day went.
I can't wait until the snow comes and they're just feet of snow and Ransom's out on his porch and he's just like, I'm fucking miserable, and you fuckers gonna hear about it. Like I cannot wait.
Do you know how cold it is? Do you know how cold? Can you see my eyes? No, they're frozen.
You see this? Look, I'm fucking sweating. There are 4 feet of snow on the ground, and I'm fucking sweating. Look at this. You see it? You see the sweat? Yeah, you see the sweat.
Can you see my eyes? No, because my fucking face is covered up with a scarf.
I'm all fucking steamed.
I'm all fucking steamed. So there's that. Yeah, go check out Ransom's mad ramblings of the Mad King of the Mad Time of the Mad Damn on our Facebook page. Hopefully I'll get some more content there myself as well. I'd love to do some talking about the New Japan variety. I'm trying to get back into that. Last weekend really kind of lit a fire up under me. So, but we've been talking about all the shit that we got going on. Anybody else got anything else for the good of the order?
For the good of the order.
All right. Well,
try harder, Maniac.
Try harder, Maniac. For the pod of the podcast, Tiger Bomb Tom. For our tech guy, Suit the Bard, Baby.
Yeah.
myself, your cruiserweight champion, your cruiserweight champion elect.
No.
And our reigning, defending, undisputed, and unhinged Mad King, Alec Ransom. Thanks for listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, if I can say it right. Have a great day. Or night. Or whatever the fuck ever.
Way to go, Beef. Way to go.
Ransom got the COVID.